From unexpected double agents to fascinating explanations behind why certain Jedi didn't see eye to eye. It's hard to argue against the following opinions and takes being much stronger with the Force than what Star Wars actually delivered in the end. Gareth here from What Culture Star Wars, and here are 10 Star Wars fan theories better than what we got. Number 10, this isn't the Book of Boba Fett you thought it was. It's safe to say the Book of Boba Fett Disney Plus series didn't really do enough to justify its own existence for the most part. However, had Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni and the gang opted to head down one rather popular fan theory route instead, there's a good chance this tale could have at least gotten off to an instantly jaw-dropping start. The series gets going by revealing how Fett was able to escape his infamous Sarlacc fate post-Return of the Jedi. Yet one fan seems to believe that it wasn't actually our OG Boba that crawled out of the pit. It was actually another clone trooper who may not have fully aged out due to a mutation or other error and had slipped into life as a stormtrooper before falling into the Sarlacc pit. The sight of Fett stealing oxygen from the troop could have just been a distortion of reality brought on by being digested, with the stormtrooper/clone attempting to stay alive in the beast actually stealing Fett's suit at one point. And this would likely explain why this kind-hearted Boba often feels like an entirely different person throughout the series. Number 9, Yoda could manipulate time. Many were quick to point out how bizarrely fast Luke Skywalker managed to pick up the ways of the Jedi over the course of The Empire Strikes Back, with the son of Anakin going from relative novice to serviceable Jedi in what only seemed like a couple of weeks training max under Yoda's tutelage on Dagobah. Yet one rather intriguing fan theory suggests that Yoda actually managed to master a certain skill that would have allowed Luke the chance to legitimately grow into a believable Jedi. Though specifically not alluded to in the movie itself, some believe that Yoda, being an all-out master of the Force, as he is, found a way to manipulate time while Luke was learning the Jedi ropes, effectively slowing it down so he had enough time to get to grips with the ways of the Force before hooking back up with his pals in Cloud City. It's already been confirmed in the Jedi Fallen Order game that some Force users can possess the ability to slow down enemies/machines for a spell. So would you put it past Yoda taking that power to new extremes in his bid to get Luke up to speed? Not, I would. Number 8, Matt Smith plays a young Palpatine. Heading into the Skywalker saga ending The Rise of Skywalker, the exciting news of one-time Doctor Who Matt Smith being reportedly brought into the Force-sensitive fold left many pondering precisely who the talented Brit could be playing in this 9th installment. As suggested by the Weekly Planet podcast via Esquire, it wasn't outside of the realms of possibility that Smith could be on the verge of stepping into the shoes of a younger Palpatine, perhaps in flashback or projection form. However, while that would have no doubt been a sight to behold, Smith never actually made it into the flick at all. The actor would at least confirm that he was in talks to appear in episode 9 at one stage though, telling Happy Sad Confused Josh Horowitz, "We were close to me being in it, but then it just never quite happened. I think the thing they were thinking of me for, eventually the part became obsolete and they didn't need it, and so I never got to be in Star Wars." Making matters more painful, the star also admitted said role would have been a big thing too. What could have been? Number 7, ObiWan Kenobi does actually remember R2-D2. One of the more jarring plot holes to tumble out of the prequel trilogy came in the form of the frequent screen time shared between ObiWan Kenobi and everyone's favourite astromech R2-D2. With the eventual Ben pretty much acting as though he'd never even met the droid during A New Hope, it never quite made sense why the wise old space wizard suddenly had no memory of his one-time trusted ally. Well, some fans seem to believe that this was all Kenobi's idea of again talking around the truth as a way of protecting Luke from the dangers that existed out there amongst the stars. From the precise verbiage Kenobi uses during his initial Episode 4 interactions with Luke, C-3PO and R2, stating the technical truth of not remembering ever owning a droid, for example, to his calling out to R2-D2 as his little friend when the Skywalker son was unconscious early on. It seems Kenobi could have once again been playing his cards close to his chest for the good of young Luke when it came to this particular piece of information. At least that makes for a more satisfying explanation than Lucas simply rewriting history for the hell of it when it came time to boot up his prequels. Number 6, Maz Kanata is a double agent, being brought to life by Oscar-winning sensation Lupita Nyong'o via some admittedly stunning motion capture work. That still couldn't stop most fans feeling a little underwhelmed at the way Maz Kanata was used throughout the sequel trilogy. After a rather mysterious debut during The Force Awakens, the Force-sensitive being is largely shuffled into the background from there on out. Had the likes of Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams been keeping an ear to the ground, however, they may have stumbled upon a rather staggering theory that could have given Kanata and Nyong'o some serious meat to sink their teeth into in episode 8 and 9. Said theory suggested that Kanata could have actually been connected to the dark side all along, working behind enemy lines and pulling the strings in a sort of Lady Macbeth role with Snoke, as the two look to bring down the resistance from within. While it would have undoubtedly been a rather surreal twist after such a warm introduction, it would have at least made for a better use of Nyong'o's remarkable talents, and Kanata a far more interesting entity. Number 5. Rey is Obi-Wan Kenobi's granddaughter. Precisely what Star Wars family Daisy Ridley's Rey belonged to was the question on just about everyone's lips back in 2015. Yep, that is 7 years ago now, folks. One of the major theories dominating these discussions post-Episode 7 came in the form of Rey actually being related to Obi-Wan Kenobi, with many being quick to assume that Ewan McGregor and Alec Guinness's "Rey, these are your first steps" line, as she takes hold of Luke's lightsaber, meant that the scavenger had some sort of connection to the legendary Jedi. And this development of Rey eventually being revealed to have been Ben Kenobi's granddaughter wasn't actually as far away from being a reality as you'd think, with Ridley herself confessing later down the road on Jimmy Kimmel Live, at the beginning they were toying with an Obi-Wan connection, with Satine Kree's actor Anna Graves also admitting to loving the idea of Rey being her and Kenobi's long-lost grandchild. More than a few Star Wars fanatics clearly felt that the Kenobi route was far more compelling than the eventual Palpatine endgame. Number 4. Boba Fett killed Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. For the longest time, fans simply could not accept that the galaxy's most inept set of troops would have been able to successfully invade the Lars family homestead and brutally murder Luke Skywalker's Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. And so, a theory was brought into existence that consisted of none other than savage bounty hunter Boba Fett being responsible for the pair's demise, with the Beskar sporting badass very much being on Tatooine at the time and being told by Darth Vader no disintegrations when being tasked with hunting down the Millennium Falcon in The Empire Strikes Back. It just all made sense. Yet this particular concept of Fett actually being behind the scorching of Owen and Beru was pretty much debunked by the anthology book from a certain point of view, with Fett stumbling upon the charred remains of Luke's Guardians in the Added Muscle story after their demise during his quest to retrieve the bounty Vader set on a certain set of runaway droids. And while some have taken to suggesting that the Book of Boba Fett may revive this long-standing theory, with the titular character's pained reaction to a similar homestead raid, there's still no concrete evidence to suggest this fascinating theory is the real deal. Number 3. Mace Windu wanted to be the Chosen One. It's no secret that Anakin Skywalker and Mace Windu experienced something of a stormy relationship throughout the prequel trilogy, with the latter often expressing his disapproval at the former's training as a Jedi in the first place. Far from simply being a grumpy old Jedi master stuck in his ways though, some have theorized that Windu's bitter attitude towards Anakin may have actually stemmed from his belief that he was in fact the Chosen One all along, adding much more weight to the pair's bristly big screen back and forths upon a rewatch. Look no further than Windu's statement upon finally cornering the Dark Lord of the Sith himself, Darth Sidious, in Revenge of the Sith, for evidence of the Jedi Master seemingly wanting to be the one who brought balance to the Force, with his words of "I am going to end this once and for all," highlighting his apparent need to prove that Anakin wasn't actually the Chosen One who was prophesized. It definitely makes for a more interesting explanation for Windu's prickly behavior towards the former slave, than simply being an arrogant Jedi pain in the ass just for the sake of it. Number 2. Palpatine drained Padme of her life force and gave it to Anakin. Natalie Portman's Padme Amidala ultimately found herself being dealt perhaps one of the most underwhelming deaths in sci-fi movie history. In a universe equipped with sinister Force users, many an epic lightsaber duel, and a staggering amount of spectacular battlefield skirmishes that could have all been responsible for this one-time Queen of Naboo's end, Amidala instead wound up depressingly dying of a broken heart post-childbirth. Many fans have actually theorized that this wasn't the case at all though, noting how it would have actually have made more sense if Darth Vader's new master Emperor Palpatine was the one behind her shocking end, with the act of his beloved kissing goodbye to the land of the living acting as the final push towards the dark side Anakin needed to entirely kill off his Skywalker past. It's not that far-fetched to assume that Palpatine could have actually been despicably draining away Padme's life force from across the galaxy, with some even noting that said life force could have then been used to tragically keep Vader alive, perhaps explaining why the new Sith Lord sensed Padme throughout his transformation. Whatever way you slice it, anything beats the uninspired choice to simply have Luke and Leia's mum die of a broken bloody heart. Number 1. Finn Poe becomes a thing. It wasn't just Star Wars fans the world over who were desperately angling to see Finn and Poe Dameron become an intergalactic item throughout the sequel trilogy, with John Boyega and Oscar Isaac themselves both doing everything in their power to suggest that there was more than just a bromance going down on the big screen. As Isaac would note to IGN on the matter of trying to push for Disney to deliver the Finn-Poe romance that fans have been theorizing and clamoring for from the second the two shared the screen together, I would try to push it a bit in that direction. But the Disney overlords were not ready to do that. And Boyega also noted to Cinema Blend that we would play it up, we did a little bit. We just think about it, the hugs, the hand on the back of the neck. Despite the pair's willingness to deliver the Star Wars romance fans wanted all along though, Disney instead opted to head down the Rey-Kylo romantic route for the most part, and entirely missed an opportunity to deliver, as Isaac brilliantly put it, a current thinking take on love within the galaxy. Really dropped the ball on that one, didn't you, Disney? And that's our list. Know of any other Star Wars fan theories better than what we got? Let us know all about them in the comment section right down below, and do not forget to like, share, and click on that subscribe button while you're at it. Also, make sure to head on over to whatculture.com and find some more incredible articles just like the one this video you're watching right now is based on. I have been Gareth from What Culture Star Wars. May the Force be with you. Thank you very much for clicking on this video today, and hopefully I will see you soon. Bye bye.